So I'm going to ask us to continue now with Tony Gronowicz, executive. I just messed up your name, but Gronowicz, thank you. Well, since I know you, I feel like I should correct myself. And Tony today is with the Executive Committee, the CUNY Professional Staff Congress. And he'll explain why he is here at this hearing.
Okay.
Thank you.
My name is Anthony Gronowicz, and I have a PhD in New York City political and social history from the University of Pennsylvania's History Department. As a member of the Social Science Department of the Borough of Manhattan Community College, BMCC, I serve as elected faculty advisor to BMCC's student government. I'm also elected faculty advisor to CUNY Divest from Fossil Fuels, the student group that has passed more than 15 resolutions over 2 years. This past fall, at the annual banquet of the CUNY University Student Senate that represents 500,000 CUNY students, Hunter College nursing graduate Anna Paula White, who is seated here, accepted the award on behalf of CUNY Divest from Fossil Fuels for the 2015 Student Organization of the Year for lobbying the CUNY Board of Trustees to divest these poisons from its endowment. She was also at my side in March 2014 when I presented a formal resolution before the Delegate Assembly of my union, the Professional Staff Congress, the PSC, calling on our union to support divestment from fossil fuel companies. The PSC passed that resolution and thereby became the first union in the nation to do so. The resolution called for, quote, immediate action regarding the climate crisis, evidenced by recent events like Superstorm Sandy, the melting of polar ice, and other extreme weather events like unprecedented floods, droughts, and storms in many parts of the world. It noted that we have already exceeded the 350 limit of safe carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere, and without a major policy change, we're already on track to reach a temperature increase of more than 2 degrees Celsius in the next 15 years. It quoted from a 2006 report, the Stern Review, The Economics of Climate Change, that showed that the cost of climate change is equivalent to a loss of 5% of global gross domestic product every year, now and forever. That's a quote. And could be as much as 20%, while the cost of solutions to climate change could be as little as 1% of global GDP annually, an amount equal to the $674 billion which fossil fuel companies spent on exploration in 2012. Noted in the resolution was that the CUNY long-term investment pool invested in mutual funds that own shares in the top 200 fossil fuel companies, quote, and supports continued degradation and destruction of the planet, end quote. Therefore, we urge Board of Trustees to divest from the top 200 and reinvest 5% of the long-term investment funds in companies promoting solutions. It resolved to encourage its members to join the CUNY Divest campaign by organizing climate change forums and educational events on local CUNY campuses, and by passing divestment resolutions in campus government bodies. 11 days ago, I heard Richard Kaufman, a member of Governor Cuomo's cabinet and the chair of the governor's newly formed Energy Finance Subcabinet, give a presentation before Columbia's School of International Affairs Center on Global Energy Policy. He unequivocally stated, and this is a quote, clean energy means higher cost. It's just not true. And he said it with that emphasis, end quote. And in fact, the renewable energy sector has the potential for explosive growth. We've already heard testimony to that effect, very convincing and eloquent. The cost of renewable energy has plummeted. In a February 1st piece in the New York Times, Paul Krugman noted, quote, the numbers are really stunning. According to a recent report by the investment firm Lazard, the cost of electricity generation using wind power fell 61% from 2009 to 2015, while the cost of solar power fell 82%. These numbers, which are in line with other estimates, show progress at rates we normally only expect to see for information technology. And they put the cost of renewable energy into a range where it's competitive with fossil fuels, and we've already heard that it's outperformed. So, as the honorable members of the legislature know, and the eloquent guests who spoke today, fossil fuel divestment is now a full-fledged student-led movement at over 400 U.S. colleges and universities, 9 of which have committed to divestment, among them Stanford, Green Mountain College, Hampshire College, San Francisco State, and Unity College. And at CUNY, the University Student Senate has 3 times passed divestment resolutions between October 2013 and May 2015, as well as the Graduate Center Doctoral Student Council, student government associations at Hunter College, Baruch College, Brooklyn College, Medgar Evers College, the College of Staten Island, New York City College of Technology, the Borough of Manhattan Community College, Bronx Community College, and Hostos Community College. Global warming has accelerated and differentially affected our students based on race and class. I mean, Robert Moses' grand project to put in the Cross Bronx Expressway in the South Bronx, which is the poorest urban county in the nation, and most of the schools, half of the schools in that 200 yards from that Cross Bronx Expressway, the asthma rates have soared. So it's a public health issue. And I'm sorry Ms. Moreau is not here because it's a public health issue. Fossil fuels kill people. Solar, wind, and wave does not. And that's an issue that I'm sorry that has not been raised sufficiently in this forum. The second issue, a false issue, is this notion that converting, getting out of fossil fuels is going to be a loss of jobs. Well, I have here in my hands the Jacobson report, 15 scientists, academicians, very extensive study that they put forward in 2013, which pointed out, and I'll just give the summary, not the statistics, because it's filled with statistics and reports, scientific studies, namely, the number of permanent jobs created by the electric power sector alone is expected to exceed significantly the number of lost jobs in current fossil fuels companies. The reason is that nearly all energy for New York State with the proposed plan will be produced within the state, whereas currently most oil, natural gas, and coal used in the state is mined out of the state or country. So this is a spurious and false issue that needs to be taken head on with this kind of poisonous studies that have been put forward by Ms. Moreau. Too bad she's not here. And it is the island of Dr. Moreau. I love the illusion that Senator Holliman talked about. She is straight out of that tradition. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gronowicz, for your testimony. It could not be better. It is a health issue. And when you was talking about Robert Moses, you just brought me back to Sunset Park, where we had the BQE, and we have four school lineup right next to the BQE, where the asthma rate of those schools, when you do the study about how many children are now going to school during the month of whatever, you will find out that that is higher on those four schools next to the BQE than it is to, for example, to PS 169, which is on 7th Avenue. And this is right there on 2nd and 3rd Avenue. And furthermore, I would say that we are in need of school in my district. And the site that has been selected happened to be on the opposite side of 3rd Avenue where the BQE is congested. You know, usually I put at 6 a.m. I put there 1010 Winds. This is a free commercial for 1010 Winds. But I put a 1010 Winds just to find out how the BQE is doing in order for me to either jump into the BQE or take local road in order to come to Albany or go to any meeting in the city. Mm-hmm. And by 5:30 in the morning, so they're already telling you, do not take the BQE, make sure you go through 4th or 5th Avenue. Now they're moving to 6th Avenue, which is even worse, because they had to, in order to get through the other side of Pat Slope, they need to go now through Fort Hamilton Parkway in order to go around the road. So now it's becoming more complex, and they want to give us more trucks. So I perfectly understand and witness what you just spoke about. It is a health issue. This is a very, very...
it's a class and race issue. Class and race.
I was getting there, but I didn't want to say it that way. It is.
I wrote a book which has class and race in its subtitle. So,
being a professor academic on sociology, so you understand very clearly that it's a social discriminatory issue, what is happening to communities such as the one that we represent. And I thank you very much for your testimony.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I also thank you. I've read the testimony. I had to run out for a minute. We're taking people a little out of order because of time schedule, so our next testifier will be Mark Dunley, and then we'll come back to Carol Ann. Okay. Thank you.
And I do have some written testimony that's helpful. I wasn't sure where that would help you.
Right. For camera purposes, does it make sense for Mark to be here to testify? Mark, would you sit here to testify? Th- Probably right here on the end will make their camera run perfect.
Well, you can
Okay.
sit next to me, Mark, if you want to.
And Mark is a Green Party representative, as I am. I
I've
endorsed you in
heard that.
2000, yes.
Thank